Alright, guys. Well, apparently there has been some bullshit happening about a horror game. One who I watched for one of my favorite content creators, Badass Manly Hero. We're just gonna jump into it.
So over the course of the years, we've covered many frustrating and depressing topics on this channel. However, today's topic is definitely up there because it involves another situation where real life people are being hurt over.
Yeah, so there was a horror game that was made about, some siblings who committed cannibalism and did a bunch of stuff. It was actually a really good game, and despite the controversy, I highly suggest checking it out. I really enjoyed it. It's a horror game. It's supposed to make you question things, right? It's horror.
Fictional content. It involves a topic we have covered multiple times over the past 2 months, and that is the horror game, The Coffin of Andy and Lele. Now, here is the latest development. This is all happening.
The developer of The Coffin of Andy and Lele has sold the game's title and terminated her entire presence. Many people have reasonably assumed this was a result of her being harassed for the game's content, even being allegedly doxxed. Now, this is a big opinion I have. I genuinely believe that if you dox people, you should be held accountable and prosecuted federally. And it should have prison time. But anyway, that's a conversation we can have for afterwards.
Happening over the past 24 hours. It appears that the developer of The Coffin of Andy and Lele has sold the game's title and terminated her entire online presence. And many people have reasonably assumed that this is the result of the torrent of harassment that this developer has faced on social media over the past 2 months, as well as being allegedly doxxed over the past day or so.
Okay, so I'm 50 seconds into this video, and I can already kind of assume what we're going to be running into here. It's a Twitter post. You can see the anime profile picture. Genuinely, most people with aggressive opinions and anime profile pictures aren't usually the people you want to take advice from. But let's see.
And this is a very frustrating set of developments. A lot of people have been tagging me with it in any tweets that are relating to this.
And yes, I do realize I am reacting to a VTuber. That's different. And that's another, again, another nuance for another time.
And before we get into the actual announcement from the new publisher that has taken over this title, let's inform or remind ourselves as to why there's so much controversy surrounding this game. So about 2 months ago, the horror game, The Coffin of Andy and Lele, was released onto Steam.
And I watched Manly Badass Hero's entire playthrough of this game, and it's a genuinely great game. It had a lot of twists. It had a lot of things that make you question. Yeah, there's incest and shit. Like, it's a horror game. It's supposed to be messed up, right? Are we canceling other games for doing this kind of stuff? No, of course not. I think what's happening right now is Twitter is doing what they usually do. They find something they need to project on, and then they jump on it because it's easy, and then they get pissed off because they have nothing better to do with their lives. But anyway.
This was an independently developed game, and Over the course of time, this has been
And it was a
massive
good
success.
game.
Over $2 million in revenue has been generated, and there is a 97% overwhelmingly positive set of reviews on this game out of the over 8,000 reviews left by people who purchased this game. And the reason Twitter is angry about this has nothing to do with other horror elements in this game, like cannibalism, murder, satanic worship, and so on.
You know, the usual recipe for horror games, or horror in general.
They're mad that at the end of the game, there is an optional route that includes incest between these two characters. Now,
Wait, what? That's where people are drawing the line? Not the cannibalism. Not the murdering of your parents and sacrificing your soul. But because there's an option to incest. Yeah, that's weird as fuck. But you gotta realize this is a fantasy game. And has nobody watched anime before? Most of the people that are pissed off about this have anime profile pictures. What is the number one reoccurring thing in Japanese anime? Incest. Sounds to me like a lot of people are ashamed of the weird shit that they're into, and now they're just projecting their insecurities onto this game, as they usually do, because that's what Twitter people do. You know, Twitter is the new age of pitchfork and burn the witch.
after playing every single second of this
If you owe more than $10,000 on
shit.
credit cards, lines of credit, or personal loans in Canada,
route
weird.
on
Okay,
stream,
anyway.
I can speak from experience as to what that scene was all about. Number one, and of course, part of this time was inflated because I was talking to the chat, but it took over 6 hours of gameplay to even reach this optional route. And when it is presented as a vision of the future.
But I'm also confused as to why that's what people are latching on to. Most of the people that are pissed off about this kind of stuff have anime waifu pictures as their profile pictures. Am I insane? But most Japanese anime enjoyers, most of the anime that you guys watch has incest. Or it's like, you know, one guy has 5 girlfriends. Why is this weird? Like, I'm just trying to comprehend this right now. As a guy that doesn't watch a lot of anime and did as a kid, there's a lot of incest that happens in these shows and games. So this is what people are clinging to? Why? This is what upsets you? You realize that your entire identity revolves around what you're upset about.
As a warning as to bad things that are going to happen if their toxic relationship continues. It is sent as a warning, and it is in no way glorified or showed as something good. It is shown as a bad ending, and it's supposed to make you uncomfortable, just like other traditional horror elements.
Yeah, it's horror. It's supposed to make you uncomfortable. This isn't a TV show where you reiterate your entire life around it. You watch this stuff to make yourself uncomfortable. It's horror. Fuck, what? Chainsaw Massacre is now the new identity for... Like, fuck, guys. Like, please tell me I'm not crazy. This is fiction. you watch this stuff to feel uncomfortable. When you watch horror stuff, it's supposed to scare you. What, are people literally trying to, like, write their life about horror films? God damn, dude. You might as well put a clown mask on and ride on a tricycle right now. If that's the way you think.
But that didn't stop anyone from harassing people who developed the game, people who were fans of the game, or even artists like this who are making memes based on the game and its positive reviews on Steam.
Now, this is where I'm going to start having a problem. Look, you can have your opinions. You can hate things. You can dislike things. But the second that you start doxing people and putting other people's lives in danger because you feel like you have some stupid ass moral high ground to fight something that really doesn't cause a problem in society, fuck you.
Now, I think this quote from back in October really sums up the outrage on Twitter really well. It's basically saying that despite this 98% positive rating on Steam, you would look...
There's 4 different quote RTs that ratio the original tweet, and it's just losers stomping their feet about how the game is actually bad and people are only pretending to like it because of culture. Oh my god, are you serious? And there aren't gameplay videos on YouTube with 500k views. There's multiple channels that played this game that have more than that. But alright, live your delusion.
Look at Twitter and you would think this game must be horrible and everyone hates it. And it's only sold 10 copies at this point because there are many viral tweets dunking on this game that don't reflect the actual experience of people playing the game. And you have more benign ones like this saying this incest game is starting to get on my nerves with, you know, over 30,000 likes on this tweet. You have ones like this saying 98% positive.
Oh, again, hey, he's got a Gohan picture. Would respect him. 98% positive because 2 people actually played it and rated it while the other 9 players. Again, like, these guys live in this delusion where they honestly believe that their perspective on life is the only perspective that should be. Man, maybe if you went out and tried to be like Gohan, you wouldn't be such a tool.
Positive because
Oh, and own the libs. Okay, I'm not a liberal, but this kind of stuff is ridiculous. If you're gonna try to pull the political thing, at least have an argument.
2 people actually played it and rated it, while the other 9 of the entire user base rated high to own the libs. Yes, over 8,000 people purchased this game and played it just so they could give an overwhelmingly positive rating on it. Yeah, that definitely happened. But you have more direct threats like this. There was endless threats. You can check out my...
Oh, this is my favorite right here. So you got the guy with this weird-ass profile picture. Not gonna lie, I'll beat the fuck out of the dev and everyone who supports this shit. Yeah, no you won't, bro. You'd never leave your basement. You're not gonna beat nobody. But, you know, keep posting that shit on Twitter. Nobody takes you seriously.
Other videos on this to get more of these, but just here's some examples of the stuff that people were saying about the developer of this game. Saying, not gonna lie, beat the F out of the dev and everyone who supported this stuff. Well, the dev can get his house nuked. My honest reaction, of course, this user is pulling out a gun. This person saying, no way.
Americans, man. They feel like if they just pull a gun out, they're like, yeah, I'm gangster. Well, when everybody has a gun, you're really not that gangster. Just saying.
They got Epstein making games. This person saying, how long do you think it'll take for the dev to be outed as a sex offender? I give it 4 months. And I covered a lot of these, like I said, in some of my videos.
We're halfway through the video, and by the way, the developer of this game is, I believe, a female, a woman. Now, that doesn't really change anything. It doesn't change anything. It's still just a bunch of people on Twitter being fucking psycho.
And I will say from my personal experience going through this video and the accompanying ones, I have never received more hostility on social media than anything involving these videos, okay? And I've covered a lot of controversial topics. I've gotten under the skin of a lot of people over the years, but nothing quite like this. The amount of death threats and harassment and false allegations I got out of this was insane. Just by me questioning why Twitter is freaking out about this one optional route and is okay with other themes like cannibalism and so on. And that was enough to cause a torrent of hate across social media. But nonetheless, here we are at the update. This has all happened over the past 24 hours, and a lot of people are talking about this situation because it is just about as bad of an ending as we could have gotten to this whole game and its success. And this is the unfortunate ending to an ongoing series, by the way. There is a part 3 of this game to come out, and it's supposed to come out in the next month or so. So let's read the actual...
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I wanted to read that segment right there. Since our friend here didn't touch up on that. The developer of the Coffin and Andy and Lele has sold the game has sold the game's title and terminated their entire online presence. Congratulations, guys. You completely beaten down someone who made a game. Damn. I hope you feel proud about yourself. You can pat yourselves on the back now. You just solved so many issues. What a bunch of fucking bullshit. Many people have reasonably assumed this was the result of her being harassed. Of course it is. Especially if this is their first game that they've released. Of course they're going to back down. Especially after being doxxed. Like, it's insane to think that somebody would put up with this shit, especially when people on Twitter are so absolutely insane that they would send death threats. And I genuinely believe that doxing people should be a federal crime, and it should have jail time. I don't give a fuck who you are. You should not be allowed to dox somebody. Releasing people's personal information, such as their phone, their address, any of that stuff, should be 100% a federal crime. It's not, but it should be.
Game to come out, and it's supposed to come out in the next month or so. So let's read the actual statement. So a publisher named Kit9 purchased the title of this game, and this is their statement on...
Okay, I'm just going to read this. So, Kit9 bought their stuff. Pre-develop announcement. As per request... sorry. As per request from the primary developer, Kit9 Studio has acquired the title, The Coffin of Andy and Lele. Our team of freelancers will handle the programming, community management, customer support, business contracts, and legal disputes. The original developers will continue providing the art and story. Thank you. We will do our best to support them as they create the game. So Twitter literally pushed these guys to sell their rights to another company for protection. On a sadder note, the developer has decided to permanently and completely terminate their activities online from here on. The best way to show your support is by focusing your discussions towards the game and not the developer. And I agree with that. I honestly believe that this developer has had a lot of stress, and we should support their content. They wish to be left alone. Okay? So if any of you guys are still harassing this person, You should be completely ashamed of yourself. There will be no communications or information forwarded to the developer from this point on forward. They are choosing to remain completely in the dark to continue their work happily offline. And 100% they should. They made a really good horror game. You know, it made you question, and it had a great storyline. And as usual, Twitter does what it does, and it fucks shit up. There will be, other than Kit9 Studio stepping into the role of the owner and publisher, the developer of The Coffin and Andy Lele will continue to proceed with no change in plans. Well, hope you guys are proud of yourselves. These guys could have made some really cool-ass games. And you're afraid of incest. Bro, half the shit you watch is full of incest. Like, fucking grow up.
On Steam, it says, as per request from the primary developer, Kit9 Studio has acquired the title The Coffin of Andy and Lele. Our team of freelancers will handle the programming, community management, customer support, business contacts, and legal disputes. The original developer will continue providing the art and story. We will do our best to support them as they create the game they want to create. On a sadder note, the developer has decided to permanently and completely terminate their activities online from here on. The best way to show your support is by focusing your discussions towards the game and not the developer. They wish to be left.
96.3 The Breeze is Edmonton's home for Christmas favorites right through Boxing Day.
Could have better placement for
There will
ads,
be
but
no
yes.
communications or information forwarded to the developer from this point onward. They are choosing to remain completely in the dark and to continue their work happily offline. Other than Kit9 Studio stepping into the role of owner and publisher, the developer of The Coffin of Andy and Lele will continue to proceed with no change in plans. The devlog for December will still be delivered as originally promised, and there will be the final words from the developer. All future game announcements afterwards will be handled by Kit9 Studio. Going forward, discussions outside this thread about the developers of this project are considered off topic and will be removed. Now, the important thing to look at here, let's start with the positives, okay? If there can really be positives.
I totally forgot I still had that follower thing up there. My bad. I'm gonna remove it right now. Oh crap, I don't know how to remove it. Can I just hit delete? Yeah, okay, that's some bad taste. My bad.
The developer who was responsible for the entirety of the first 2 episodes of this game will continue and lead this story for the final 3rd part, which is a good thing. They're going to be very well involved. And also on the positive, it looks like Kit9 is doing a very good job of wanting to support the existing project and basically be there as an assist to the developer as she continues working on this game offline. And they're basically taking the public role of owning it. And that is a good thing. But the obvious bad in this is that the people who are harassing this person, they in a sense won. They were silent. They silenced this developer. And
No, you know what? They didn't win at all. In fact, I think a lot of people are going to stand up and play this game. Because what usually happens when a bunch of trolls on Twitter get pissed off and try to cancel somebody, those of us who have the power, and I'm not claiming that I have that power, are going to say, fuck you. We're going to play the game. No, we're going to put it on every single social media platform as possible. Because when people like this decide that they're going to latch onto something like this and harass, threaten, and harm somebody for creating something that is... There's a lot of things that could be compared to it. So why is this where you guys draw the fucking line? You know what I think it is? You draw the line because you have nothing better to do with your lives, and you need a moral high ground to remind yourself that you're not a shitty person. So you can pat yourself on the back every fucking day. And you take that out on easy targets. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to real problems, you can't solve shit.
Force them offline. You know, and it's a mix of the harassment and the alleged doxing that led to this, and it has driven them off of the internet entirely. And it's completely and utterly disgusting behavior. Okay? All of this boils down to an optional route in a fictional setting from a video game. And this person was hurt. They were harmed as a person and even had their safety allegedly put at risk because of the doxing because of it.
And again, this is the biggest thing that I keep saying. Doxing puts people's safety at risk. Why is this not against the law? Why is it okay for people on the internet to release your information, your address, your phone number? I'm pretty sure in certain countries this is not legal. This leads to people getting hurt. Because when people have influence and they dox you, well, their crazy fan base is going to do crazy ass shit.
This. And it's so insane to see people not only justifying this, but celebrating how this...
Are you ready to learn the secret to cheap Canadian cannabis?
Apparently I need to get
Supply,
fucking
we're
premium.
more than just an online...
all went down. When they could have seen this game that they didn't like, containing themes they didn't like in a fictional setting, they could have just moved on. That's all they could have done. And also people have pointed out that there are others...
This too. If you don't like something, stop overreacting. Stop going to the point where you're going to threaten another person's fucking life just because you don't like something. If you don't like what someone else is doing, stop fucking consuming that content. Do you really need to go above and beyond to ruin that person's life just because you have a different opinion on what they're doing in their free time? Because, you know what? There are literal fucking documentaries about how insane you are for thinking that.
sites like this one right here, which is a site that independent developers use to sell their game, the developer has completely wiped their presence off of that as well, including their former games. So
yeah, basically, because a few dickheads on Twitter got pissed off over a game. Now this person has to completely redo their entire life. Congratulations. You fought the patriarchy. I can't even say with a straight face. You fought nothing. All you did was ruin someone's life. Congratulations. Hope you're proud of yourselves. Hope that moral high ground up there is great for you. You know, pat yourself on the fucking back. You just ruined someone's life. Feel good about yourself. You fucking pieces of shit.
they are completely off the grid in terms of the internet. They have removed all of these things, not just from a, an aspect of being present online, but also business opportunities. They are removing things like their former games as well and options to buy them. It's a really messed up situation. And in terms of my tweet, I really didn't get much hostility on just my simple report of what happened. But there was one tweet in particular I wanted to point out. It was the only one I responded to. And to make a long story short, you have an artist, in particular a furry artist, saying, actually, I think normalizing incest is bad. Call it a hot take. To the degree people should rightfully respond to the creator, I do not know. But I'm not going to complain that this happened to them.
This is your average Twitter user right here. And this is why I tell people to never take people seriously on the internet. This is your average Twitter user right here. They are deranged, insane people who are so disassociated from reality. And they're trying to dictate a world they're not even a part of. These are the type of people that don't even leave their house, but try to dictate on how we should live our lives. Complete delusional insanity.
Yes, this person is having a moral quandary of whether it's right or not to dox someone and put their personal safety at risk.
Yeah, like I said, unhinged, delusional behavior. Deranged people with a voice. This person is trying to find a reason for doxing people, for allowing other people to send other people to your house just because you said something wrong. He's trying to find a reason to say that it's okay to have people go and send you death threats. What the? No. This is completely deranged, insane behavior. Doxing is fucked up. And people who defend it are even more fucked up.
Risk because of themes in a video game. Now, I would go back and forth with this person, and eventually it proved pretty quickly that it was going nowhere. But to sum up some of the things they're trying to say as a justification is that this is presented in a way that encourages people in real life to imitate it. And not only does the game not glorify that optional route, it is not the job of the developer to tell full-grown adults that themes like that are bad. Just like they don't have to tell you the cannibalism and murder in that game is bad, they don't need to tell you this optional route is bad either.
No shit. Like, do we really have to tell grown adults that these things are bad? Do you watch movies and think like, oh, I should go do that? If that's how you watch and consume entertainment and you think that you're going to go and do the exact same thing that the content you're consuming is doing, please go get help. Sincerely, society.
Either for a competent adult to understand that that is not a promotion of those things as real life counterparts. And this would just go on and you know, again, this is a furry artist. Like, do you really want these normalization standards in terms of fictional content to apply to the artwork that you make? It's absolutely ridiculous, and it's frustrating to see, and it's always extra frustrating when it involves artists saying things like this. At the end of the day, I don't care how problematic you think this fictional content is, nobody should be harmed in real life. That just makes no sense. There is no way.
That right there. Thank you. Nobody should ever be harmed in real life for what happens on the internet. Stop with this bullshit. If you're offended by something, be offended by it. We are sick and fucking tired of people threatening people on the internet. Yeah, you disagree with something. Great. Good for you. Who the fuck gives you the right to threaten other people's lives? To do things that are violent? just because somebody disagrees with you on the internet. You're a fucking deranged fool, disassociated from reality. Get help.
You can justify that without sounding like a completely unreasonable person. And these threads and reactions to this sort of a situation are just eye-opening and disgusting. But at the end of the day, this is a very sad ending to a very successful game, okay? I am one of many people believing that this game was snubbed in terms of recognition, especially from gaming journalists and game awards and things like that. It's been completely ignored. And that likely is because of the negative reaction on Twitter, which apparently in the eyes of, gaming journalists, for example, outweighs the actual content and the actual tangible success of this game. And here you have an independent creator having massive success by themselves, and it doesn't get recognized. In fact, it gets punished by a bunch of weirdos online. But that's going to do it for this video.
Weirdos online.
Final part of the Coffin of Andy and Lele being released, and I hope it stays true to the vision of the original developer. But yes, sad situation today, so please share all of your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time.
I'm Pipkin Pipara, the world's...
Well, cheers to that guy for making that video. I, too, am getting really sick and tired of having to deal with this kind of stuff. It started with a lot of actively being online all the time. You see a lot of bullshit. It used to be just blank threats. But now you're starting to see it as actual threats and physical violence and all this other stuff is actually coming out. And it's over some of the dumbest mundane shit. People have taken their opinions and have weaponized it to a point where they feel like they have the right to ruin a person's life over it. Freedom of speech, right? Yeah, no, fuck you. You don't have freedom of speech to ruin another person's life. Especially over something so mundane as a fucking game. A horror game that is designed to make you question things. And I had my mom made a post the other day about like how people on Twitter are so fucking deranged and insane. And I agree, they are. Twitter is like the cesspool of deranged, delusional fools. They are the witch hunters of our time. They want to cancel everything that they don't agree with. Any minor inconvenience that, doesn't qualify to what they believe, well, it has to be canceled. Well, if we live in a society where everything is canceled because we don't agree with it, then nobody agrees on anything. And if the first thought is to cancel somebody because they don't agree with their opinion, to destroy their life and to destroy their family's life, well, then we are just moving into a society of complete chaos and anarchy. Like, if you can't take criticism, then you shouldn't be able to give it. And that's opinion of mine. And who knows, maybe someone will tell me that my opinion is wrong, and maybe I'll find a way to... But that's the whole point of this. Conversation. Talk. Don't get pissed off because someone's playing a fucking video game and then you can dox them and send death threats to their fucking family. Am I insane to think that, like, this is absolutely deranged behavior. Point is, it's a video game. It's a horror game. It's supposed to make you question things. It's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable. The fact that people are attacking the developers over it is completely insane. But anyway, as I do have a few more points I want to... Just, at the end of the day, do us all a favor. Own your morals. Own your opinions. But don't take it to a point where you have to harm somebody for your opinion. Don't dox somebody. Don't send your entire viewer base to attack somebody just because you disagree with what they said. That is pussy behavior, and you're a fucking bitch if you do it. Anyway.